It's a serious situation in Himachal Pradesh's capital Shimla, where tunneling work for a 4-lane national highway project has allegedly triggered structural damage to residential buildings, forcing families to flee their homes late at night in freezing conditions. At least 2 residential buildings near Sanjauli were evacuated at around 10 p.m. after alarming cracks appeared, reportedly due to tunneling beneath the Chalonti bypass. Nearly 40 people from 15 families were moved out as temperatures dropped close to 1 degree Celsius. With no immediate shelter, several families spent the night by the roadside, lighting fires to keep warm. The district administration and the police rushed to the spot, and after cracks were also noticed on the Sanjauli Dhalli bypass road, authorities immediately suspended vehicular movement on the stretch, highlighting the potential risk to public safety. Residents say warning signs were visible days earlier. Locals had alerted the tunnel construction company about cracks forming in their homes, but were initially told that there was no danger. However, the situation worsened rapidly, prompting a sudden evacuation. The incident is particularly serious because it follows a troubling pattern. Last year, a multi-story building collapsed in nearby Bhatakufar, an incident linked to the hill cutting for the same highway project. In another case, authorities ordered over 5 crore rupees in compensation for damage caused by 4-laning work on National Highway 5. Shimla's fragile hill ecology combined with aggressive infrastructure expansion makes such incidents high risk. We have Bhavreen Kandhari, environmental activist, joining us. We have Professor Soumitra Mukherjee, Director, New Environment and Energy Research, also with us. Thank you both of you for taking time out to be with us. Bhavreen Kandhari, this is following this troubling pattern as I was talking about, and there seems to be no efforts to ensure that this pattern is identified, tracked, and amends are made.
Yes, definitely. I mean, it's not the first time. I mean, you've done many shows as well, and it's something that's happening. We have to kind of, it's something I'm repeating, that it's been said that Himachal Pradesh lies entirely in the Himalayas, and which is one of the most fragile mountain systems in the world. So mistakes cannot be repeated. If you've done mistakes, which we have, like you also mentioned, the similar incidents have happened before this. So all these tunnels and blasting, they're obviously weakening the hills, and they disturb all the underground rock layers and various water channels, etc. So without getting further into the scientific details, because I'm sure the expert panelists will speak on that, it's just the complete internal balance is disturbed. So I think the one is, of course, the intent, that what is it that we are looking, what is prioritized? Do we is the government or the concerned officers looking for mindless development there, or they want to work or strictly within the geological or environmental assessments before all these tunnel approvals, etc. And it's so important. We know everything, but something that I think mostly no one will say this, that when we are talking about the national highway, etc., or the border roads organization, etc., is fine, but pinpointing the private contractors who are working for them, that is extremely important here, to bring accountability. There is clearly the weak on ground supervision from the Ministry of Road Transport and Highways, or various departments. But it is important that that all these names, their contact details, the grievance officers, all this information should be on public domain. It should be on big boards on every. We don't need politicians.
Absolutely.
Their boards. It's extremely important, and that is why I think talking about what is happening, everybody is saying this, but why is the problem continuing and nobody wants to take action? Because this is what is the missing link.
Yeah.
for ordinary citizens like ourselves.
Yeah, Professor Soumitra Mukherjee, one is, the delicate balance that need to be struck. The hills do need, the infrastructure development, but they need to be done with the right guardrails. Even this
Exactly.
particular crisis that is now unfolding in Shimla could have been averted because alerts were given by the locals. Invariably in these situations, when it comes to environmental damage, the locals who are the ones who detect it first, and invariably their alerts, don't get taken seriously.
You see, that crux of the point is that there are three facets of this problem. Number one is the geological. So the geological is the area is fragile and there are interconnected fractures. And whenever you are over extracting the groundwater due to the increasing tourists, so you need the water. At the same time, if the bottling companies, they are also extracting the water from the springs. So the thing is that the subsurface water resources, the aquifers, they are drying up. And there are different layers. One is the zone of saturation, one is the vadose zone, and another is the zone of aeration. So whatever the water was existing earlier, that has gone down, and there is a vacuum, and the overburden is always trying to sink in that area. And whenever you are extracting the extra rocks, so that is also creating the secondary fractures. And through the secondary fractures also, the groundwater goes inside the earth. So one problem is that the aquifer it is unstable, and the second problem is that due to the tunneling, the rocks, they are developing secondary fractures, and through the secondary fractures they may initiate the sinking of the land as well as the land subsidence. And the third point, which is very important, is that due to these uh, unsustainable developmental activities, the vegetation, the trees are being uprooted. So these trees are actually holding through their roots the soil, and the soils are actually uh, maintaining the ecosystem of the hills. So whenever you are extracting the topsoil, you are doing some crying with the hill area, and it has to be done in a very sustainable way. Whatever development is being done, that may be required, but it has to be done in a suitable location. First of all, whether this tunneling locations were selected based on geological studies. So nowadays there are INSAR satellites. By help of those INSAR satellites, it is possible to infer the subsurface geology as well as subsurface hydrogeology. And based on normalized difference vegetation index, you can see what are the losses of the vegetation. The moment you are extracting the vegetation from the hilltop, the soil is getting uh, underway. At the same time, there is a heavy surface runoff. So whatever the rainwater which is falling, which goes in the form of surface runoff, and it is not going inside the earth. So it is not maintaining the hydrostatic pressure. So ultimately, the problem is being faced by the poor hills. The hills, they cannot speak, but they can subside. And the problem will be faced by those people who are living there, who are going there, and who are surviving.
Fair enough. We will leave it there, completely out of time here on the conversation. Professor Soumitra Mukherjee, Director, New Environment and Energy Research. Thank you so much for taking time out to be with us here on News 9. And Bhavin Kandari, environmental activist. Thank you for being with us.